Okay, this is language for Thursday, December 3rd. And it's come to my attention that yesterday I said we were doing page 78, and then I proceeded to do with you page 79. So hopefully you just rolled with it and you went ahead and did page 79 with me yesterday. So today we're going to do it backwards. And I am going to say we're going to do page 79, but we're really going to go back and do page 78. Alright, so page 79 was supposed to be for today, but I skipped page 78 yesterday and did page 79. So we're going to do page 78 today instead of 79. Okay? So hopefully you just skipped it. Hopefully you did the page that I actually did with you. Hopefully you figured it out and did the page. That page is very like the test, the one we did yesterday, 79, with the envelope on it and correcting the mistakes. And also the part at the bottom where you're taking a sentence and finding the possessive in it. And we will do a little bit of that on the board to review again today, since that's what we were supposed to have done yesterday. And we'll do several orally too. So, but we're going to go back to page 78 today. And again, it has some things on it that are very, very like the test also. Okay, so you're going to be putting in commas, that's on the test. And you're going to be taking phrases and sentences and rewriting them correctly, so that way you don't have to put in the insert marks. And we'll do a tiny bit of that on the board again today, but that's what we're going to do on our paper today. All right, but let's start with looking at the chart. Okay, this is what we looked at already several times. I've told you this is going to be on the test. You will have to write it out. Now they're going to put it like they did on your paper yesterday, where it is not capitalized, no punctuation, and you have to fix all the capitalization. All right, first of all, starting with this is who it's from, and this is who it's to. So from is up, to is down, okay? Names must be capitalized, so when you put the name, you need to make sure you capitalize it. Street address, the street name and the actual whatever kind of street it is. In this case, this one is actually street, ST, period. Don't forget the period for the abbreviated. Then between your city and your state, which both the city and the state do need to be capitalized, don't forget your comma. That is a rule we learned. And then write out the zip code and be very neat. It's 3 lines of writing: name, street address, city, state, and zip code. Okay, and this is who it is from. Down here we have who it is to. This time we do see a abbreviated title of respect. So it needs to be capitalized because it is a title of respect. It needs the period because it's an abbreviated title of respect. And then the name, both names need to be capitalized, first name and last name. Then we have our street address. This street happens to have 2 names in the street, West Spring, and then again they use street as the abbreviation for the name of the street, not boulevard or avenue. If they're going to have you do one of those on the test, they would have given you the abbreviation for it, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, they will tell you what the abbreviation is, so you don't have to memorize the abbreviation. You just need to remember. You just need to remember to capitalize it and put that period because it is an abbreviation. Okay, so I can tell you it's not going to be street. It will be some of the others that we learned. One of them will be street, but one of them is something else we learned. But they've already shown you what the abbreviation is, so you just need to make sure you capitalize and put the period. Then again, here's your city, then they put a comma to separate it from the state, and then the zip code. Okay, so make sure you know how to do that for the test. All right, let's look at some more charts. First, we're going to look at capitalization rules, especially since on the envelope, you're going to have to capitalize things. That's one place. And then something we do on the board today will show you something else you'll need to do on the test. So, capitalize the first word in every sentence. Capitalize names, titles of respect, initials, and the word I. Capitalize the days of the week, the months of the year, but not the seasons. Capitalize holidays and special days. Capitalize proper nouns. Remember, that's a particular person, place, or thing. Capitalize names referring to God and the Bible. Capitalize first word, last word, and every important word in the titles of books, stories, poems, and songs. All right, let's move on to reasons we use a period. All right, first of all, you use a period at the end of most sentences. Let's tell which ones they are. declarative and imperative. After initials of names. Okay, so if the name is written using just initials, you put a period after initials. After abbreviated titles of respect. Most of them are abbreviated usually, so what's the one that's not? Miss, M-I-S-S. Do not put a period for that one. It is not an abbreviation, so it does not need a period. And after most abbreviations, talking about street names like we just talked about on the envelope, or also days of the week or months of the year. All right, use an apostrophe. We're only going to look at this with an S to show ownership because you do need to know that for the test. We're going to take a sentence and turn it into just a possessive phrase by putting an apostrophe S with who is owning it and then writing whatever it is they own. All right, let's move on to commas. Okay, because you definitely are going to have to put in some commas on the test. Use a comma and a conjunction to correct a run-on sentence. That one won't be on the test. After yes or no at the beginning of a sentence, definitely will need to know that one. Before and after the name of the person you are speaking to in a sentence. So that's a direct address. So remember, if you say their name first, the comma goes after their name. If you say their name last, the comma goes before their name. And if you say their name somewhere in the middle, the comma goes before and after their name. Okay? Then you're going to use a comma to separate a city and a state. That's not the whole rule though, is it? You separate the city from the state and after the state too, if it's not at the end of the sentence. Use a comma to separate words or groups of words in a series. So words in a series. And use a comma to separate parts of a date. My least favorite rule on here because they should have said the day after the day in the date. After the day in the date and after the year too if it's not at the end of the sentence. So what are the days in the date? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I should have started with Sunday. And the number day. Okay, so whatever day on the calendar it is, the number date, you would put a comma after that, but never after the month. Never after the month. And we do have one of those on the board. All right, let's look first of all at my first sentence on the board. This is where you're going to rewrite. There's a section where they have written it out, and they've written it out. Something's wrong with it. You have to rewrite it and write it correctly. So it says, Mom. Oh, no, it says, may I have an apple, Mom? May I have an apple, Mom? So what's missing? Did you say direct address? You need a comma there? Very good. You are talking to Mom, so you would have to write, may I have an apple? And since this is direct address, that's who you're talking to, you need to put a comma and then put Mom. And then don't forget to put the question mark still. Now, you do not need the insert mark because you're not fixing somebody else's work. You are rewriting the sentence. So when you rewrite a sentence, you don't put insert marks. Okay, so you just need to put the comma. The second sentence says, Monday, December 7th, 2020, we start school. So I'm talking about we're starting back to school again. So where are we going to put those commas? Remember the little rule after the day and a date? So what's the first day? Monday. So you would write Monday. It's already capitalized. Make sure you capitalize it too. Then you're going to put a comma. And then you put December. It's also capitalized. Month of the year. Make sure it's still capitalized. Do not put a comma. That is not a day and the date. That's a month. Then you put the 7. That is a day and the date. So you need another comma. 2020. That's the year. Is it at the end of the sentence? No, it's not. So you need another comma. Then you would finish out the sentence. We start school. And don't forget to put that period at the end of the sentence. Okay? Because you have to copy it correctly. All right. The coach gave Grace a trophy. This is that section on your task where you're taking a sentence and turning it into possessive phrase. So you do not have to write the whole sentence. You do not have to make it into a new sentence. You're just turning it into possessive phrase. So if the coach gave Grace a trophy, who owns it, who possesses it, and what are they possessing? Is the coach possessing something, or is it Grace? You should be saying Grace, so you would write Grace. How do you make a possessive? Apostrophe S. Very good. Grace's what? Grace's trophy. So that's all you would have to do is take the coach gave Grace a trophy and say that means it's Grace's trophy. Now I'm going to give some more to you, but we're not going to write them. We're just going to talk about them. So listen up. Abby has a bank. What would that be? Abby's bank. So write Abby, apostrophe S, bank. What about Ben found a big pine cone? That would be Ben's pine cone. If you wrote Ben's big pine cone, that would still be okay. But it would be Ben, apostrophe S, pine cone. Mr. Whiskers got a cat treat. So that would be, who owned it? Mr. Whiskers. Mr. Whisker with an apostrophe S. Actually, Mr. Whiskers already has an S, so put S for Mr. Whiskers. Then put another apostrophe S after the S. So S apostrophe S, because Whiskers has an S already. Some of you guys don't realize that. If the word already ends in an S, then you put an apostrophe S after the S. Mr. Whiskers is the cat's name. It ends in S. Then you put an apostrophe S. And what did he own? Cat treat, or you could just call it a treat. Okay, Mr. Whiskers cat treat or Mr. Whiskers treat. Our class got a betta fish. So that would be classes betta fish. And you would not put classes C-L-A-S-S-E-S. That's plural. You would say C-L-A-S-S apostrophe S. Classes betta fish. I found the ruler Nathan lost. So that would be Nathan's ruler. Nathan, apostrophe S, ruler. The button on that sweater is missing. So that would be the button sweater. No, the sweater's button. Because buttons don't own a sweater, but sweaters do have buttons, right? So the sweater's button. The cover of this book is torn. That would be the book's cover. Because a cover doesn't have a book, but a book does have a cover, right? Book's cover. What about Jonathan got a good grade? Jonathan, with an apostrophe S, Jonathan's good grade. All right? And Riley has a loose tooth. That would be Riley, apostrophe S, Riley's loose tooth. All right, very good. Hopefully that's what you were saying. All right, that will be on the test. All right, now we have one more section on the board that we need to look at. This one is about direct quotations. All right, these are harder to see because my blue is starting to get faint. I need to get a new blue, but the student asked, when is the test? All right, so on these, you're going to have to use proofreader marks to tell me what should be capitalized and use proofreader insert punctuation. That would be inserting the quotation marks and the punctuation at the end of the sentence. So the student asked, when is the test? Did you notice the first thing that needs to be capitalized? That would be the beginning of the sentence. Very good. Capitalize the word the. All right. What did the student ask? What was the direct quotation? When is the test? So you should insert the quotation marks. The comma is already there. You don't have to worry about that. It says the student asked, comma. So right after that comma, but before the word when, you need to insert your quotation marks. Now, what did we learn about quotations? Direct quotations, the first word of the direct quotation needs to be capitalized. So capitalize the word when. Make sure you capitalize the word when. Then you need to go to the end. When is the test? What kind of quotation is that? What kind of sentence is that quotation? When is a test? Did you say interrogative? I hope you did. That is a question. When is the test? So you need to put a question mark, insert a question mark, and then after the question mark, insert the quotation marks. Okay? Second one says, the teacher replied, we will have the test on Wednesday. And that is when your language test will be next week, on Wednesday. Okay? So, what do I do first? I hope you notice that that first word over there, the, is not capitalized. So, that's the first thing you need to capitalize. All right? The teacher replied. Okay, that just means she said it. What did she say? We will have the test on Wednesday. Okay, so we need to put a quotation mark after the comma, before the word we, insert the quotation mark. And then what have we learned? The direct quote, actual direct quote, we will have the test on Wednesday, needs to have a capital at the beginning of it, just like a sentence within a sentence. So capitalize we. The end of the quotation, is it here? No. You need to go to the next row. We will have the test on Wednesday. What kind of sentence would that be? Did you say declarative? So insert a period and then insert your quotation mark afterwards. Remember, the punctuation goes inside the quotation mark. All right, so that is another thing you will be doing on the test. All right. Now let's do our page together, and we are doing page 78, not page 79. Right? So at the top, it reviews with you your comma rules. So let's read those. It says after yes and no at the beginning of a sentence. Before and after the name of the person you are speaking to in a sentence, that's direct address. Between the name of a town or a city and the name of a state. So to separate the city from the state, and then don't forget, after the state too, if it's not at the end of the sentence. All right, and then we have separate words or groups of words in a series. All right, and then last of all, to separate parts of a date. But the better way to say that would be after the day in the date and after the year if it's not at the end of the sentence. All right, so you guys ready? The first sentence says, and we are going to use proofreader marks to insert all necessary commas in the sentence. All right, so yes, we visited the state capitol building in Indianapolis, Indiana. Inserting commas. That's all we're inserting. Don't forget your insert mark. Do you hear me saying to put the insert mark? Some of you keep not putting it. You just put the comma. Insert. It says use proofreader marks to insert all necessary commas. So please make sure you're putting the insert so I don't have to take off points on the test. All right, so the first one is yes or no at the beginning of the sentence. So insert a comma after yes. Is there another one in that sentence? If you don't know, Indianapolis is a city, Indiana is a state. You should know Indiana is a state, though. We've been learning the Midwest states. So insert a comma to separate Indianapolis from Indiana. Very good. Do you need one after Indiana? No, you don't, because it's at the end of the sentence. Go to the next one. William, please play your recital piece for Mrs. Green. What about that one? I heard direct address. That's good. Who's talking, though? Is William talking or is Mrs. Green talking? Or who are you talking to? I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry. Who are you talking to? Are you talking to William or are you talking to Mrs. Green? You're talking to William. You're asking William to play something for Mrs. Green. So the comma goes after William. Insert the comma. All right, next. Aiden, Jacob, and Isa are my cousins. Is that what that says? Isa? I'm sorry, I can't find it. Yep, that's what it says. All right, so what rule is that? words in the series. Very good. So the first person in the series is Aiden. So you need a comma. Insert a comma. Second person is Jacob. So insert another comma. Then you see the word and. So that means stop putting commas. All right. Next it says, no, I cannot come to your house this Saturday, Abby. All right. First one is easy. Yes or no at the beginning of the sentence. So put a comma after the no. Is there another one? Yeah, there is. Direct address. You are talking to Abby. No, I cannot come to your house this Saturday, Abby. So put a comma before Abby. After Saturday, before Abby. Insert a comma. All right, on May 4th, 1871, I believe that says. Yes, the first professional baseball game was, I can't find it, played in Fort Wayne, Indiana. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. On May 4th, 1871, the first professional baseball game was played in Fort Wayne, Indiana. All right, so something about a date, maybe? The day and the date? What's the day in this date? The 4th. Put a comma after the 4th. And also after the year, because it's not at the end of the sentence. So put another comma after 1871. Do we see anything else? Oh, are you asking, is Fort Wayne a city? Yes, it is. Fort Wayne is a city and Indiana is a state. You already knew that, though. So Fort Wayne is the name of the city. Do you put a comma to separate Fort from Wayne? No. No comma to separate Fort from Wayne. Fort Wayne is the name of the city. Put them together. They are together. The comma goes after Wayne to separate from Indiana, which is the state. Fort Wayne, comma, Indiana. Okay? All right, now the next section is what I was telling you about is on the test also. Both of these are like what's on the test. You'll have a section like the top section and you'll have a section like this next section. By the way, if you want to put stars with your red pen by both these sections and stars by the paper we did yesterday, the envelope, and taking those sentences and turning them into possessive phrase, all 4 of those sections are like what you're going to have on the test next week. So you can put stars like on them. These are great papers that will be going in your folders, language folders. I don't want you putting them there yet because I do need to see that you did them. All right, so the first one says Bedford, Indiana. This paper is a lot about Indiana today, isn't it? So Bedford is a city, Indiana is a state. So when you write it, you will put a comma between Bedford and Indiana. Very good. Don't forget to capitalize them. They're already capitalized. So if you don't capitalize them, I definitely will be taking off a point, even if this is not about capitalization, because you still should have capitalized what was capitalized, because they've already made sure that you knew what was capitalized. All right? Now, as I go through these, if you want to use a sentence that's already there and insert what needs to be done and then go back and rewrite them, do not use the insert marks when you rewrite them, but that way you can go ahead and finish this up on your own afterwards. All right, so the next one says C.T. Studd was a great missionary. C.T. What are those? Initials? Yes. So what do initials need besides the fact that they're capitalized? Yes, they need a period. So C period T period. Then his name is Studd. Do you need a period after that? No, you don't put a period after names, just after initials. All right, C.T. Studd was a great missionary. They already have a period at the end of that because that is a sentence. They didn't have it after Indiana because that was not a sentence. So don't put a period after Indiana. Just put a comma to separate Bedford from Indiana. If you put a comma after Indiana, I would take off a point. There's no reason for a period there. I mean, there's no reason for a comma either, but only Bedford, comma, Indiana. That's all you need. If you put extra, it will lose points. All right, the next one says, Mom packed a sandwich, chips, apple, and brownie in my lunch. Are you talking to anybody? Is it direct address? No, you're not talking to Mom. You're telling me what Mom did. You're talking about Mom, so no comma needed for that. But there is words words in a series. Very good. So the first series is sandwich. So then you need a comma. The next thing is chips. So you need another comma. The next thing is apple. Good. So you need another comma. And then you see the word and. So stop putting commas. Do not forget the period at the end of the sentence. All right. So that's words in a series. Sandwich, comma, chips, comma, apple, comma, stop. All right, next it says Mr. Nathan A. Garcia. Not a sentence, just a name. First thing you need to remember is to put a period after that abbreviated title of respect. Yes, Mr. is an abbreviated title of respect. They've already capitalized it. Titles of respect get capitalized. They've already capitalized it. You just need to put that period. Then you have the word Nathan. Nathan is a name. Doesn't need a period. But that next thing is the letter A. What is that? An initial. So initials need to be capitalized, which they did, and then you need to put a period. Very good. And then write the name Garcia. Capitalize it. It's a name. It needs to be capitalized. It already is. Do you need a period after that? No, because it's not a sentence. It's just somebody's name. All right, next it says, Michael, come here, please. Michael, come here, please. What is that? Direct address. You're talking to somebody named Michael. Michael, comma, come here, please. So make sure you put a comma after Michael. And then that is a sentence. That's an imperative sentence, so don't forget the period at the end of it, which they already have. You just need to make sure you put it. Next it says, yes, we do have a pecan tree. That one we've already done. Yes or no at the beginning of a sentence. Put a comma after it. That's all you need to know. And then make sure you put the period at the end of the sentence because it is just a declarative sentence. Period's already there. Just make sure you put it again. All right. Let's talk about your penmanship for the day. Yesterday we did O and P, so today we're going to be doing Q and R. So let me erase the board very quickly. All right, Q and R is page 58, so it's the back of the paper we did yesterday. All right, eyes up here as I teach you Q and R. All right, I'm going to draw some lines really quickly. All right, remember we are writing 3/4 space high, so you should not be touching the ceiling. Tail should only go a little bit below the line. Okay, think about 1/4 of the space. So start a little bit down and make a loop and go around. Come this way and make a loop on the floor and then go out. And you could connect it. In fact, most of the time it would be connected to a U. Okay, so if I was going to write Queen Elizabeth, I do Q-U-E-E-N. You don't need to do the U. I'm just showing you that it could be connected. Now, lowercase u, some of you tend to want to do it like this, but that is another letter entirely. You need to remember that you're doing this way, touching the back and going out. That is Q, right? So you're going to start like you would for an A. Go up and around so it looks sort of like a C. Go back and touch where you started it. Come back down. Take the tail this way. Touch the backbone and then swoop out to connect it to the next letter, which would normally be a U. Okay? Very few letters do not have a U after the Q. There are a few words, I should say, not letters. Words. Most words are QU words. There are some out there aren't though. All right, the next letter we're going to do is R. So when you do R, you would start about in the middle and swoop up and then come back down, nice and straight but slanted. Then go back up that same line and come around and make a bubble. Once you hit the backbone, then swing it out with a leg and it can connect to the next letter. Now, lowercase r is some of you have a really bad habit of the way you make it. I really need you to pay attention. All you have to do is go up the ladder, down the slide, drop into the pool. Okay? Up the ladder, down the slide, drop into the pool. You do not have to make this thing on purpose. You do not have to go up and down and straight across and down. That is not what we do. Some of you actually even split it right there and do it like that. Okay? You're not listening if you're doing this. Because I'm saying up the ladder, down the slide, drop into the pool. Okay? As you go down the slide, it is making that little thing you see there. Okay? So, the next section you would do up to wherever the period is. Again, there's nothing I can do about the fact that I don't have my book with me, so I can't see where the period is. You write whatever the first sentence is, and then you would write the verse at the bottom. All right. And I'll see you next week.